Welcome to Lesson 8. In this lesson we are going to discuss adjustment layers. In Lesson 3 we learned how to adjust or edit our photos to make the photo appear at its best. In this lesson we're going to take our editing a step further. Although using levels, saturation, brightness, contrast, etc. enhances the appearance of our photo, if we later open the photo and are not happy with the adjustments that we made, we can't do anything about it other than open the original and start over. This, however, will change with adjustment layers. Let's begin by opening the Strawberry Girl photo. You can use any photo for this, but I'm just going to use this photo because it can certainly be useful for what we need to demonstrate here. So let's begin by selecting the New Fill or Adjustment Layer button. It's located next to the new Create New Layer button, right here. So we select that. And we're going to go down to the Levels section. As soon as we click on this, you're going to notice that a new layer has appeared above the background layer. And it says right on it, Levels 1. So if we look to the bottom of our palette, we'll see that there's a Levels adjustment. So let's make our adjustment like we normally would, sliding over to the bottom of the mountain. And now we've, very similar to what we did before, we adjusted our levels, but now we have done it on a totally separate layer. So if I click the visibility icon, I can see what it's like with it or without it. If I want to make changes to that, I can go back at any time to do that. And we'll talk about that in a little while. Let's move on to the next one, saturation. So I'm going to show you a second way we can open this up. Go up to our Layers menu, Layer, New Adjustment Layer, and let's pick the Hue Saturation. So I can go OK. And down the bottom of our palette bin, we're going to see the saturation slider. I'm going to slide that all the way over here, and I'm going to leave it right there for now. Then if I wanted to do the brightness and contrast, I could do that. Right click, or sorry, not right click, click on the Create New Adjustment Layer. Brightness and contrast, I'm going to add a little contrast to that. Okay, leave it at 10 or 12. I'm going to leave that. So now I'm going to say, okay, there's my adjustments. I think I like that the way it is. I'm going to save it. I'm going to go File, Save As. I'm going to save it to my desktop and say Strawberry Girl Adjusted. And say Save. Now notice it's a PSD file because there are definitely layers on there, so I have to save it as a PSD file. I'm going to close this out, and normally when I would reopen this photo, so let's go do that. I'm going to go File, Open Recent, so I'm just going to go to the one I just did. Normally those adjustments are made. When I open this up, I look at it and go, whoa, did I ever oversaturate that? And if we use the method that we've been using up to now, there's nothing I could do about this adjustment other than start from the beginning. But if you look in this layers panel right now, you will see the layers. I'm just going to expand this panel a little bit here. Oh, I'm just going to close this up for now. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go, I don't like my saturation setting at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to this layer thumbnail here with the, looks like the little wheels on here. I'm going to double click that, and that's going to bring up my adjustment slider down here. And now I can go and make adjustments and bring that back to, I'm going to bring it right back to 0 and then start over if I want and say, oh, okay, that's a little bit better there. I like it like that. And now I can resave, or I can work on it, or I can do whatever it is I want to that photo. But the beauty about adjustment layers is you can always go back and change it. I can look at my levels now and say, oh, I think I'd like to brighten that up even a little bit more, or not. But however way I want to do it, I can always go back and make adjustments. And there are lots of times when we'll make adjustments to a photo and we think that it's really good, and then we come back to it later on and we look at it and it's just not exactly what we thought we would like, and then we have no way to adapt it. But in using these adjustment layers, it certainly will give us a lot more versatility. One of the neat things that you can do with adjustment layers is to add a mask to the layer. We will get into that a little bit more in detail later, but what I want to show you is something that's pretty neat. I'm just going to delete these layers right here, and I'm just going to show you one little thing that we can do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the quick selection tool, which is located right here, and I'm going to make my brush a bit bigger. I'm going to quickly select this, roughly select the strawberry and the little leaves that are attached to it. I'm just going to go like this. There we go. And I'm going to take lips of the little girl here, and I'm going to add a saturation layer. So I'm going to come right up here and I'm going to go Hue, Saturation, and notice now that my thumbnail, instead of it being all white, because I had some things selected, the white layer is revealed, and that's the only thing that's going to be adjusted, whereas the black is now is hidden from the layer. So I'm going to go and push this way up here, and you're going to see the red goes very vibrant because that is the only thing that I've selected. Or I can make it go black and white. Oh, that's kind of creepy looking. But just to show the point, if you make a selection and then do your adjustment layer, it will only make the adjustment to what you have selected, which is a pretty neat feature, and we're going to get into that, like I said, much later. And if you had known this back in previous lessons, you could have done the black and white strawberry girl quite easily. So now if I wanted to do this again and make everything else black and white, I can go back to my background. I'm going to select what I had selected before. And then because I got the add brush, I can go down to the lips and add those. A little bit more here, a little bit more here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to inverse select. So that means I'm going to come up here and select inverse. So everything except for what I've selected is now selected. And then I'm going to make an adjustment layer. Again, I'm going to take the saturation layer, and notice this time it's reversed. So all the white is what you can see in this layer, and the black is what's hidden. So I'm going to go down to saturation. I'm going to move it all the way over so that it's black and white. And now I have my black and white with a little bit of splash of color in there. Now when I look at this, I might say, Oh, wow, this is way too red. So I'll go back up to my adjustment and I'll tone that down a little bit. Again, I just had to click on the wheels there, and now I can bring that down so it's not so bright. So as you can see, there's lots of really neat things that we can do here with the adjustment layers. And there's lots more to come in our next two lessons on layer masks. Have fun playing with it.
You would not believe